That means we are only left with 13 days for this particular month to come to an end, and also for January transfer window to conclude. How your team is preparing. And today I want us to discuss a very big content about the team of Arsenal. What should be done at the team of Gunners to see that the actual win English Premier League? Their squad is okay, but what is lacking in that particular team? So actually today I want us to start our show in style. We started with what is happening in other parts of the world, then we come and finalize with the national stories, maybe probably with the regional stories. Before we proceed ahead, I need to usher you into the discussion. Good afternoon, and you are very smart, extremely smart, I should say.
Good afternoon, viewer. Good afternoon, Benson. Thank you so much for acknowledging. And I should say a lot of stories. I watched a few games last night. There is the AFCON. Taifa Stars deceived the whole of East Africa.
That's true.
Because we were banking on them. They were the only people that actually were representing us. But then they started well somehow. The usual words they were asking for water. It wasn't a good one. Then I also watched the game of Morocco and the opponents. It ended on a 1-1 draw with somehow a penalty that was awarded, and then it was removed and all that. A lot of confusion and all that. So, and basically locally there were some games that actually were supposed to be played on Monday. A match day one in fourth division games. These games were postponed, especially for Leo. Leo's match day one is actually tomorrow,
yes,
against Ragem Football Club down in Ragem, and then the games that were pushed ahead will be equally also fixed. There is in for Ragem, but the rest of the clubs started on Monday, match day one, like we had earlier on in the consequent stories.
Like earlier on said, today we are starting at the peak and then we come downwards. We'll come and finalize with the regional, national stories, maybe with continental stories. I want us to start with the transfer stories. This is the month of transfer. We did say people are expecting to know a lot of what is transpiring in every club, more especially the top 5 clubs we have in English Premier League. Normally when we talk about the big 5 big match guys in English Premier League, I think people know about those teams. No need for me to tell these teams, and also what is happening with the Los Blancos in Italian Serie A, in French League 1. Before we talk about the games that were played yesterday, equal the games that are set to be played today in Europe, maybe in Copa del Rey, maybe you talk about the Dutch Cup, you talk about the FA Cup. I want us to start with the transfer. Before we talk about the transfer rumors and gossips, I want us to start with the deals that have already happened and those deals that are the pipeline. More after Jose Mourinho being sacked by AS Roma, they have got a new head coach, a new manager in the names of Daniele De Rossi, and that man I should say actually was appointed that very day after sacking of Jose Mourinho. He has been a midfielder for the team of AS Roma, and finally he is a head coach of AS Roma. How good is that one, Susie?
I think it's quite a good one, because the AS Roma needed an immediate replacement.
Yes.
From there is after Jose Mourinho was being sacked, and I think this guy picked Jose Mourinho after the brilliant works that he did way back in Chelsea, and immediately he left the club. I think every other club was eyeing Jose Mourinho and all that, because basically every other person knew whatever it is that he did at Chelsea, and the good things, the achievements, the positives and all that. So from time immemorial, I think 2001, that was when AS Roma acquired the services over Jose Mourinho. He performed until now. He has been asked, and he's been shown the exit door simply because results are not coming. Because at the end of the day, when you're hired, people hire you for results to come through.
Yes.
So basically, when the results don't come through, trust me, you're packing up your bags. This applies to all companies, not only in the footballing fraternity.
Yes.
So basically, bringing in an immediate person to replace him, I think these guys know that they want results, they want better positions on the table, standing 0 and then all that. So basically, it's quite a very good one that AS Roma gets to acquire in the services of a new head coach. Since we all knew they had asked in, there is a Jose Mourinho, and we're yet waiting to see. But if you look at the previous of the current coach, I should say that AS Roma has acquired to replace Jose Mourinho. No doubt he's also good. No one goes for someone that has not performed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jose Mourinho, like just you have said, was appointed as the head coach of AS Roma way back in 2021. He managed to win for them the Europa Conference League. I remember very well in that final, they beat that champions by then Feyenoord by 1-0. Also, last season we saw Mourinho leading AS Roma up to the finals of UEFA Europa League, and they were beaten by Sevilla in that particular final. And he's not going to retire, and clubs, they have already started eyeing him. I'm talking about Jose Mourinho, and one key club which is currently eyeing Jose Mourinho is Porto, where he also won Champions League with them. It was way back in 2003 where he started his coaching career. That is the latest information coming from Italian Serie A, particularly at AS Roma, and also shifting our focus to what is happening in Saudi Professional League in relation to what is happening in European football. One key midfielder for Al Ittihad called Jordan Henderson is already on his way to Europe. Which club is he going to join? It's not Manchester United, it's not Liverpool, his former employers, not even Arsenal, but he has decided to join that Eredivisie side called Ajax Amsterdam. You know, Saudi Pro League, Saudi Professional League, last summer, actually they dominated in the transfer, signing so many players, not only the players, but so many vital, key, best players. But now, the season has not even ended, and we have seen so many players that want to move away from Saudi Professional League. One player we have just talked about is Jordan Henderson. He crossed, and the half of the season is almost coming to an end, and saying that his contract with Al Ittihad has to be terminated, and it's already done. 99% the deal is already through. The only thing remaining for him is to pass transfer, or not transfer, rather medicals to the team of Ajax Amsterdam. And also some players have already been linked with a move away from Saudi Professional League. One player I can also give as an example is Firmino. He went to Al Hilal, and he got injured after playing one game for Al Hilal. I remember he fired a hat-trick in that one game he played, and he wants to move away from Asian football and wants to come to Europe. And teams that are interested in his signature are teams like Chelsea, you talk about Fulham. Not only him, Benzema currently is in problems with Al Ittihad and also wants to move away from the club. Three key players for Jordan Henderson is already confirmed is coming to Ajax Amsterdam in that Eredivisie. And Firmino, I've just talked about him. The saga of also Karim Benzema is also here. Now, Susie, we thought that Saudi Professional League was going to improve in the world of football. Now players that have moved that side recently wants to run away from that league. What could be the problem?
I think people ran there without carrying out proper research on the terms and conditions of playing in Saudi Pro League.
Yes.
Now we discussed Saudi Pro League, I think, yesterday, and in the consequent discussion, I blatantly remember that we said people that have been crossing over to Saudi Pro League basically have been people that have been oppressed. These are people that have been suppressed in their previous clubs, and a case in point was Cristiano Ronaldo,
yes,
who we also what he was going through while at Manchester United, and then Sadio Mane, who also followed him. We also what was happening to Sadio Mane before he left, after he left Liverpool. We all know what was happening to him here and then all that. So basically, people just crossed blindly because the monies were there, and whatever it is that is making them to run away from there, even before finishing one whole season, is only understood by them. Basically, I think the condition there is not quite so okay. The work environment and all that. But so trust me, once your working environment or your work conditions are not favoring you, one, you don't bring out positive results. Your output is low and all that. It affects your brain. It affects you basically in all aspects. So I think there is something equally also pressing these guys, because they were signed with a lot of monies. Yes, Saudi Pro League came in and shocked the whole world when they were actually chasing after the signatures of a lot of these European players, and most of them crossed over, I should say, blindly, without checking through or without even ascertaining some of the terms they were signing in for. For them, they're just looking at the monies, and a few of the guys that had earlier on crossed, so they thought, yeah, that was heaven and that is where they need to be. But then reaching there, you find things are hard and you want to come back.
Yeah, still about these players that have crossed to Saudi Professional League, and also about the league itself, and talking about the money part of it, maybe the wages as the salary part of it, because people love calling them in different terms. That's why I want to mention all the terms. You know, should we say, just direct to the point, money is not a very big thing in football, because you look at the money, the salary, the wages. Jordan Henderson is earning at Al Ittihad is something of £700 per week. You look at that amount of money. That money is really very huge for a player of Henderson's caliber, but he has opted for real football, coming back to Europe, playing for Ajax. He has actually prioritized game more than money. So do we say that players value game part of it more than money?
Benson, this is something we've always discussed. Money is not everything in football.
Yes.
We've always used Tony Bolly as a very clear example. He came with all the monies, and what is happening? We're not seeing Chelsea performing. We're not seeing results. Look at their position and all that. It's not all about money. And then locally, I was actually surprised the other day at Onduparaka when a few players were talking about amidst players like Adi Antena Lava, and all that. Then the colleague was like, yes. And then the other person said, Mamulia. So you see that branding, that if you want money, there is a certain club that has money and is attached. And then one person came in and said, then you get that, and that is a very clear example. Also, the monies are there locally also. Yes, we know they have the monies. Are they performing? No. Are the results coming? No. What is their position on the table? So basically, trust me, when it comes to money, Benson, money is not everything in football. It narrows down to the working conditions. To me, it narrows down to the work environment and all that, because basically, once someone's working environment is not treating them well, trust me, there is no output, positive output.
Yeah, exactly. That takes us to the players that have already left their previous clubs and have signed for the other teams. One player that has already been confirmed as a player for Brentford is Sergio Reguilon. This player recently has been on loan at the team of Manchester United. I should say just direct. He spent the whole of first phase of the season with Manchester United on loan from the team of Spurs. Just because of the lack of playing time, he decided to go back to London, that's to Spurs, and now again, Spurs, they have loaned him out to Brentford, and Brentford is also a team that's within London. Spurs actually signed this player from Real Madrid, and after his signing, he went to Wanda Metropolitan to play for Atletico Madrid, and coming to Manchester United also on loan, now again back to Brentford on loan. It's the third time we are seeing Sergio Reguilon going on loan, and at the same time, still at the park of Brentford, the ban that was on their striker, Ivan Toney, has been lifted. Right now, he is free to play football for the team of Brentford. Two big stories coming from the team of Brentford, all positive ones. One, acquiring a player on loan, that's Sergio Reguilon, a left back, and at the same time, the ban, I should say, on their key figure, Ivan Toney being lifted. I think this one will help them, because right now they are not far away from the relegation zone. I think these two players will boost a lot of things in the team and may help the team to avoid the relegation.
I think Brentford is one side that has also equally been struggling. Together with Brentford is one side that has been struggling with a lot of issues. I don't know. And they're one side that actually, if they don't up in their games, if they don't step up their games, trust me, this is one side that we're going to be seeing relegated. They're going to be one side that basically might leave English Premier League at the end of the season. But with the positives that actually are coming through, one of the players was actually stopped from playing and all that, banned, I should say. But now, if they went in and ascertained and looked through some of the issues actually why he was banned and all that, and the ban has been uplifted. This is quite a very good ad, because the player in point is one key player that actually Brentford banks on. This is one key player that has helped Brentford. This is one key key player that you can actually ascertain the result that Brentford is going to get in case they have a fixture, that if this player is not there, trust me, you can actually guess the results, just like how you can guess the results of Tottenham Hotspurs when a few of their players, the likes of Son and all that, are not in.
Yes, fans of these big match teams, teams that are playing in the English Premier League, might also be scratching their heads. Why are we not talking about their clubs? You look at these big teams we have in the English Premier League. Liverpool is yet to sign a player. Manchester United is yet to sign a player. Chelsea is still quiet. You talk about Arsenal, they are still quiet. Maybe Spurs, because they have already acquired 2 players. One is a defender from Genoa. The player is called Dragusin. He's someone from Romania. And also Timo Werner, German international from the team of RB Leipzig. Manchester City also yet to acquire a player. I'm bringing this one because they may be asking, why are we only mentioning things about these average teams? Brentford, we have just discussed about them. Any team that will end up acquiring a player will be in position to let you know. Susie, before we proceed with the transfers, I want us to keep it in balance. This one takes us to what is happening at the team of Arsenal. People are complaining. Arsenal, they started the season very well. Now they are going backwards. Festive season has always been a black season for the team of Gunners. It's not the first time, I should say. This is the second consecutive season where we have seen Arsenal starting the season very well, but written in the middle, as towards the end, you will see them messing. What is the problem with the Arsenal? As what is the problem at Arsenal? What should be done at the team to see that the actual win the title? Fans have been yearning to see that the team comes back to European position, playing in European football. Now they are capable of doing that one. Even this season, they are going to qualify for UEFA Champions League. One thing the fans right now need is to see that they should end that drought of not winning the English Premier League title. What should be done at the team of Arsenal is actually what fans are expecting. According to you, what should be done before I also give my analysis about what should be done at the team of Arsenal for them to win the title?
Arsenal, basically, Benson one, Arsenal has a lot of, Arsenal, no doubt, Arsenal has good players. Arsenal has all the players that are, if a good coach has in his squad, they can win in every other fixture. I am not saying, their coach is not a good, I am not saying Mikel Arteta is not a good coach, but trust me, I think Mikel Arteta is one coach that actually is one coach that is confused on which player to use where. Yes. Because during the transfer windows of last year, you'd basically accept that Arsenal is one club that went into signing a lot of players. They were actually, I think they were the most active to me that went in to sign players. But then, as we were doing in these sign-ons, I think they just didn't go down into the grassroots of tracing in most of the previous, or tracing in the past over most of the players that they were signing. So they just were going into the market and getting every other person that was said to be good. Trust me. True. So after getting in every other person that was hyped, a few of them came through, and they were injury prone and all that. They have been out, and basically Arsenal now, apart from all their signings, look at Jurgen Timber. Where is he? Kai Havertz. Okay, Kai Havertz and Saka. Yes, we can count on them, but Kai Havertz has also not made a lot of appearances. We've not seen a lot coming through from him. And then Declan Rice. Yes. He basically has not even performed anything. There is, according to me, okay, yes, some other times he has performed it. So Arsenal, yes, went in and signed in players, but to me, they just signed in players that were a little bit hyped. And I think that is where the problem is. So Arsenal, this transfer window, now that is open, if they're going back into the market, they should do proper research on some of the players that they want to add on to their squad. And then secondly, they have good players that already they added in at the beginning of the season. They just need to trust in these players and play them in the right positions. Trust me, they will be good to go.
Yes. Speaking something about the team of Arsenal in relation to some of the teams that are right now performing very well, it's true. You look at the team of Arsenal. Normal when we say that the team of Arsenal is lacking experience, Arsenal fans will say, you are lying. But the entire team of Arsenal, they have players that are performing very well. They have got that collective spirited effort that can make a team to prosper. But trust me, the team of Arsenal is lacking that winning mentality, and at the same time, they are lacking winning caliber. Let me explain myself maybe in 10 seconds. Winning mentality, these players you have signed, have they won trophies for their previous clubs? And at the same time, the winning caliber I'm talking about is you look at these other players you have signed, have they ever won trophies with their previous clubs? These are the things you need to look at. And at the same time, you look at the balance in all the departments. Is the team balance? Yeah, we may say that the Kai Havertz is having experience. He won Champions League with Chelsea. No, you know, when Havertz won Champions League with Chelsea, much as he was the goal scorer, you look at how the rest of the teammates were performing. People, right now, the players, the Arsenal fans are relying on, they are only very few. You may talk about Bukayo Saka's of this world. You cannot rely on Martinelli. You cannot say that we signed Gabriel Jesus, who won a lot of trophies with Manchester City. First of all, you look at the players that are surrounding these players I've mentioned, and you look at the surroundings of the players where they won the trophy. These are the things you need to look at. That means you need to go out, you sign players that are having winning mentality, and at the same time that are possessing winning caliber. Let me give my testimony with Manchester City. When Manchester City started dominating English Premier League title, they knew that they needed powerful players in all the departments. That's why they went for a certain Joe Hart, and they knew that they needed a commander in the defense line. They went for Vincent Kompany. They knew that they needed someone who can play that integral role in the midfield. They went for Toure Yaya by then from Barcelona, and coming to the attacking force, they knew that Carlos Tevez has been doing it for the team of Manchester United. They needed a person of that caliber. They went for Carlos Tevez, and they brought in a teenager. By then it was called Aguero. You look at the likes of the Zekos of this world, you combine the squad in all the departments with the players like Alexander Kolarov, Zabaleta, maybe Klitschko of this world. That was when people started knowing Manchester City. That was when they started commanding English Premier League title. Up to now, they are still dominating. What about Liverpool? Liverpool, before last 5 years, Liverpool, they had been nowhere to be seen till Klopp came in, knowing that he needed also a very good goalkeeper. They went and deceived the AS Roma and picked away Becker. He also knew that he needed a commander in defense line. He went to Southampton and asked for Van Dijk, where Southampton did not refuse, and also went to Schalke Nufia. They brought in Joel Matip. That combination worked very well, and went to Hull City, asked for Robertson, and this other Arnold was an academy material. And also in the midfield department, he knew that Gerrard, age was already catching up with him. Jordan Henderson, much as he's having experience, but he's not a winning caliber. He knew that he also needed an Ascari, a commander in the midfield. That's why he had to go for Fabinho from AS Roma, and coming to the attacking force, Sadio Mane. That was when we saw the team of Liverpool propelling. You talk about Salah. He had that experience in English Premier League with Chelsea before going to Italian Serie A. He went for a certain Salah, bringing players like just a mixer, Firmino. You know, dominating English Premier League, performing very well in English Premier League is something not easy. Speaking about the teams, the two examples I've just given, you look at Manchester City, they have won almost every trophy. You talk about Liverpool, they are right now performing very well each and every season. They are the favorites to win, maybe. In fact, they are always favorites to compete in every tournament. You talk about Chelsea. Chelsea is also like that, unlike in the last 2 to 3 seasons where we have seen them going down, and we are coming back to the world of transfer. And let's start with what is happening with the team of Barcelona and the Atletico Madrid. Right now, they are eyeing Manchester City midfielder Calvin Phillips. This guy is a hot cake right now in the market, but the price tag Manchester City they have raised on him is really too much, something of 100 million euros, and clubs are reluctant to pay such kind of fee or such amount of fee, and players they want Manchester City to reduce that amount. the fee. They have tagged on him. Barcelona interested, Atletico Madrid interested, Arsenal interested, Juventus also in the mix, not forgetting about Newcastle. What best can be done by Manchester City, or is the other parties that are interested in this particular player?
I think by the time 2, 3, 4 clubs come through that they actually want a player, trust me, no doubt this player is good, and there is why the owners of the player currently, I mean the club where the player is actually playing in currently, gets in the courage, gets in the morale to tag in a very high price, because one, they know their player is good, and by the time they are willing to sell off the player, they equally know that they're bound to get in some good monies from this very player, and that's why they are setting in that very high target. But I think this time around, if you look at the clubs that are actually coming in, Barcelona, you're looking at Arsenal and all that. I think he now needs to be very careful on the club he chooses to go, because basically where a player goes, it's not basically the club that decides for the player. You as the player, you also have a say to choose or to ascertain where exactly you want to go. But then in cases where 2, 3, 4 clubs come through, you get a little bit confused, and this is where you need to be critical on which club you choose to go in for. We've seen in a lot of players coming through to move in the wrong directions. You're seeing like 3, 4 clubs coming through for your signatures here and there. You're being tagged a very huge amount of money. You feel you've made it, and where you go to a club, we've seen a lot of flops. We've seen most of these players choosing in and going in the right directions, and they go in there and you're flopping, and yet the monies they bought you, I should say, the monies they used to get you through were very high monies, and then you're coming into the club and thinking you're not making any achievements. Your name actually just goes down the drain like that.
Still in the world of transfers, actually, before we go for a break, Spurs, they have not given up in the signature of Conor Gallagher from the team of Chelsea. They still want to push for this player, and at the same time, the player called Gonçalo Ramos, a former player for Soccer Lisboa Benfica, right now his future is a doubt at the team of PSG, and we never know, PSG may end up casting on him, and Chelsea are willing to sell Armando Broja. This is a striker who comes from Albania, and a team that is willing to pay something of 50 million euros will be in position to snatch this player away from the team of Chelsea. And at the same time, Fulham also in talks with Chelsea to sign English centre-back called Trevor Chalobah, 24 years of age, first maybe on loan basis, and at the end, if he performs very well, we may see the deal turning on permanent basis. And lastly, Arsenal are leading the race to sign 20-year-old Netherlands attacking midfielder Xavi Simons, who is on loan from the team of Paris Saint-Germain and is playing for RB Leipzig. I said on loan. With that, we have come to the
before we go in for a short commercial break, there are people that are actually following us on there is our Facebook, there is Toha Wachawaseme. I should say big ups to you, you're always live and following, and then not forgetting Eloy Akebs, you're also following. Yeah, I don't want to talk much, I know where I'll get you. Thank you.
Okay, with that we are crossing for a break, and we'll be back soon. Just be where you are, and we are coming to discuss Africa.